Good morning. Hi, I'm Stacy. This is Loving My Veteran. I'm walking in my shoes this morning. I just hope everyone is having a very blessed morning. Um, Today we're going to talk about rights, and we're actually doing it all month. We have certain rights as humans that we need to exercise, and we need to learn to exercise those rights. Those rights are very important. The printables for the journal for the rights is in the group page. Sorry, you got to deal with the puppy barking. It's in the group page, and the downloadables for today's and tomorrow's is also on the group page. So I just wanted you to know those are out there. I'll have the rest of the week's up in the next day or two. Um, a couple of things. Newsletter. It is done. It will be going out this afternoon. If you have not gone to the website to subscribe, please do so. It's lovingmyveteran.com. We're excited that today at 10 a.m. in the group we will be putting out our first Girl Talk. It's a recorded session that me and Roxy have done. And Michelle. And it's just kind of talking about some issues that we face one-on-one, just in a small group. So that will be available at 10 a.m. today in the group. I'm trying to get all the housekeeping out of the way. Tomorrow we start our book club, Lisa Harper's A Perfect Mess. If you have not gotten it, you can get it on Kindle. That link will be posted in just a few minutes. I've already got it done. I just have to post it. Other quick things, let's see, new website will be coming today. I'm so excited. There'll be so much more information, just full of information and insight and places to go for more stuff. There's also a GoFundMe page started for Loving My Veteran so that we can get our nonprofit, so we can continue and get donations from organizations so that we become an official 501c3. And that is also on the page and on the group. So, with that being said, let's talk about our rights. The very first thing we have a right to do, and this is so important, is we have a right to ask for what we want and ask for what we need. We tend to forget that right. As humans, we tend to forget that right. We're so busy taking in for others and doing for others that when we have needs, we forget to ask for them. And we're allowed to do that. We are perfectly allowed and capable of asking for those needs. Now, there's some key ways to do that we forget. And I'm telling you, when I started doing these researches for this, puppy is driving me crazy. Sorry, y'all. When I started doing these research for this, it became eye-opening to me how I fail at this. How I fail at just asking for what I need. I am a sugar-coated person. I'm like, honey, sweetie, you know I love you, and I'm just kind of sad, and the beach is my happy place. Right? So I expect him to read through all that. Right? When the reality is, I want or need to go to the beach. So coming across in a way more specific statement is, baby, I need to go to the beach today. I want to go to the beach today. Right? Now I've asked specifically for a need. And maybe a small need, but that is a need or a want I have. So instead of, well, the beach is my happy place, and expecting them to read your mind, they don't. People do not read our minds. That is so important to understand. Nobody is a mind reader. Have you ever looked in the face of your boss or your veteran or your friends or your children, and they want something, but they don't tell you, right? So you're supposed to read their mind. Well, we can't do that. We have a lot of things we can do in our life, but mind reading is not one of them. So nobody else can be expected to read our mind. We have that right to ask for our needs. Now, just because we ask doesn't mean it's going to be met. And you also, when you ask, you need to ask for up here. And anything you get below that is a victory and a win. Okay? So let's take a work example. You've been working at this job for 2 years, all right? So they just hired a new girl, and she actually reports to you, but she's making $1.50 an hour more than you are. You've been there for 2 years, and you go into your boss's office and you say, look, I've been here for 2 years. I haven't had a raise. I kind of think my work speaks for itself. You know, I love this company. Yeah, da 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 da. I'd like a raise. And so your boss at that point says, okay, you can have a raise. Good morning. You can have a raise. I'm going to give you 25 cents an hour. Now you walk out feeling defeated. When your approach nicely could have been, when you walked in, was, oh, I'd like to schedule some time to talk, so you get a meeting set up, and you sit down and you say, hi, I've been here for 2 years. In that 2 years, my responsibility has increased by doing this, this, and this. You're not sugarcoating anything, right? In the 2 years I have been here, I have not gotten a raise. I now have the responsibility of managing this person who is making more money than I am. I need a raise, $1.50 an hour, $2 an hour, something comparable, but be specific. If you go in with that attitude, granted, they may not give you the $2 an hour, but you may get the $1.50 an hour. So you've created value for yourself without sugarcoating. You just laid out facts, and you asked for up here, and anything below that is a victory. But when you just go in and say, I need a raise, I'll be like, oh, we'll give you 25 cents an hour. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now I'm insulted. So that's what happens in everything we do. We already know that our veterans have a hard time showing empathy. So we can be sitting there, and I do it a lot, that I'm having my moment, right? And the tears are running down my face, and I'm having a moment. I'm kind of in a space, and I don't want him to fix anything. I just want him to wrap his arms around me and tell me I matter and that he loves me and it's okay. But they don't have empathy. Right? And so he looks at me and is like, what's wrong? And then you start to tell him, and he's like, well, and when you start to tell him, it's like, I've had a day, and this is coming up, and I'm really frustrated, and da. And so you kind of get it out, but you don't get what you really needed, which was him to put his arms around you and say, I have you. So to ask for what you need simply is, when he says, what's the matter, or the tears are running down your face, you walk in and you're like, hey, look, I'm in a place. I know you can't fix it, but I just need to feel your arms around me. Can you please? I need a hug. Right? So when you do that, you are asking for your need to be met. I hear all the time, and I think we see all the time in all the groups and stuff that we're in, he doesn't help around the house. I do it all. Right? So doesn't help around the house. I do it all. My kids aren't doing anything. I do it all. Wouldn't your approach be so much better instead of coming in this negative, bitter approach that's like, I just do everything and nobody helps, right? And we do that. I mean, we do that. We blow up and we do that, except for Sunny, who never raises her voice. We do that. When the approach would be so much better to walk in and say, I need help Can you do this? Take the trash out, vacuum the floor, pick up your toys. I need you to do this. Now you're clear. You're not leaving it open to interpretation. They're not thinking, oh, she needs a maid. They're not thinking, well, somebody else is going to help her. I'm not. Be clear and be concise in what you're asking for. We have that right. Now, on the flip side, remember, everybody has this right. So our veterans have the right to ask us to do things. Our children have the right. Our boss has the right. But we also have the right to say no. And that's going to be tomorrow's topic, is it's okay to say no. But let's talk more about this. We have to be aware that people may say no to what we ask for. I go back to the worst thing that anybody has ever done in the history of the world is put candy at the checkout aisle. All right? So, you got this buggy full of groceries. You're already tired. You're fighting your kids. They're sitting in the basket. They're screaming. They're hollering. You're putting the groceries up. Your kid is like, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that. And you're like, no, you can't have that. It's the worst thing they ever did in the grocery store. I mean, I know they make a lot of money on that because a lot of parents give in. But we say no to them. They may want something and we say no. And we may want something and ask for something and people have that right to say no. It's not personal. They have the right to say no. But when we get in the habit of asking, very specifically asking, people will realize your spouse, your family, your friends, they will realize that you're going to ask for help and they're going to see their specific request and they will start to make that mood change. Your boss walks in. You are swamped. You already have your stuff on your desk. It is overwhelming and says, I need a project done. And I need it done today. You have a right to say no to that. Or you ask for help or ask for a deadline. Be specific. I see you want this project done. I can't do it in the time frame you're giving me. You have two choices. Get somebody to help me or pay me overtime to stay late. Hello? Don't take it home. We tend to take it home and work on it at home and then it's taking time out of our day. Ask for your needs. Ask that something be met. Same scenario. He's bringing you this project to do. You've got 100 other things on your desk. Your answer can simply be, I can do this, but I need somebody else to do this that's due, or this is all I have to do. You tell me what's more important first. You're asking specifically for your need and not feeling defeated. And we do that. So when you're asking, and it is very much on the printables, and I'm kind of going back to my notes because I didn't quite get all this done. But you got to know your position. Good morning, Leah. You got to know your position. You got to know what you're asking for. Don't be vague. Be specific. Know your position. Key. You got to know that. You have to communicate it. You're not asking them to make you happy. You are asking them for a specific task. You have to ask them, right? You have to make yourself happy. We have a hard time with that. We think we don't deserve happiness. Let me tell you, we deserve it and nobody else is going to give it to us but us. When we get in that mindset that nobody else is going to give us happiness but us, we learn to make ourselves happy. That is a key factor in this. Take an example. Another example. I'm good at examples today. So we've been asked by our veteran to go to his buddy's house or go hang out with somebody. And we have a lot to do. We don't want to say no to our veteran because we're glad now that he's engaging with us and wanting us to participate, right? So we want to do that. And I can look at my calendar and say, I can go for 2 hours, right? So now your choices are, one, I just can't go. I have so much to do. Well, that's getting you really far, right? Or you can go in and say, I would love to go with you. I can be there for 2 hours. Do you want to go together and leave 2 hours? Or do you want to drive separately and I'll just leave when I'm done? Okay? You were very specific in clarifying what your realm was, and you didn't compromise your thing. You didn't say flat out no. You gave them a choice and you told them what your needs were. I have things I have to do. That is specific. I can go for 2 hours. Which way do you want to go? So you're very clear in that right to say, I need stuff. You're okay within that. People typically do not aim to walk all over top of you, but when you allow it to happen, it becomes more rampant. You know the old saying, and we hear this all the time, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Because we're the go-getters. We're the people that you dump on. We're the people that just take and take and take, and we find a way to do, but we never, ever, ever say, stop, I have needs. And that's where we have to get. I have needs. I can ask for what I need. A lot of times our veterans will get in a space and we'll see this argument ensuing or starting to ensue. Right? You have a right in the middle of the discussion to say, stop. I need 5 minutes alone, and walk out of the room. You have that right to make it clear and ask for what you need. It is important that we learn to do that. We act like we don't deserve this. We deserve it. Know in your heart that you deserve things and just do it, in the word of Nike. Just do it. Don't question whether or not you deserve it. When you know you deserve something, ask for it. If they give it to you, you're one up. If they don't, you're no worse than what you are. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get. So make sure you get in your head that, yes, I deserve this, and I am not infringing on somebody else to tell them I have a right and I have a need. It's okay. Express your needs. All right? You also have to be aware. One, you got to ask with commitment. You got to be committed to your need. Not be wishy-washy in your need. Be committed in your need. So have that commitment that your need is there. You need to ask with the awareness that things come with a price. Sometimes when you ask for something, you're expected to give something in return. That happens. In other words, we become needy, and we don't want that. We have needs, and others have needs, and we have to learn to give and take on the needs that we request, not needs we think they have. That becomes the price that you pay for your needs, and that's okay. Because if you're getting your needs met, and they're getting their needs met, we are now on a mutual plane of give and take and respect for each other. It's important. You need to ask without fear. I think sometimes we live our life with fear of rejection. with fear of making a mistake, with fear of not being accepted. You have to ask without fear. You know what? If they don't accept it, too bad. If they do accept it, great. But you have a right to ask without fear of judgment. And if they judge you, let it roll. That's on them, not on you. Let it go. Those are things that are important. You have to ask with trust. You have to know that you are worthy. And you have to trust and believe that you are worthy. Y'all, please excuse them. Carl's working outside so they hear this. You have to ask without expectations. People can say no, but if you don't ask, you won't get. So don't expect them all to say yes, but you have to ask and don't have that expectation. But if you ask, you're committing yourself to I need. And it is clarifying. The one thing it will teach over time is that we have needs too. And that is critically important, that we have needs too. But be specific in your need. All right? We have wants that need to be fulfilled. Do any of you have a problem if we talk about, or your friends talk about, a good recipe that they tried? Do you have a problem asking somebody to share that recipe? No, we don't. You know, do we have a problem when we walk out of the office or we walk out somewhere and say, hey, I'm running to the store. Do you need anything? No, we don't. We don't have that problem. So what happens when we need other stuff? We don't ask for it. I'm sorry. They're looking for the dogs in the house cat because mine are just outrageous today. All right. Always make your request reasonable. Don't ask for $1 million. It's not going to happen. People don't have the money tree with the $1 million laying around. Make your request reasonable. Ask reasonably. You can't ask somebody who's a paraplegic to get up and run a mile. It's not going to happen. So ask reasonably what your requests are. Don't pile on reasons and don't sugarcoat it. When you sugarcoat it, they turn off. They can't get through the bullshit. Just a simple answer. I need this. Period. Move on. Let's go. You don't have to soften the blow. You don't have to be rude either, but you don't have to soften the blow. We're allowed to have needs that don't come with sugar. It just happens that way. Remember, you're worth it. Ask, ask, ask. Think about your request before you ask. If you don't think about it and you're not specific in it, your request becomes all fuzzy. So think about your request before you ask. You also have to take other people's needs into account. So, and that we're really going to talk about in tomorrow, but they may have schedules, they may have plans, they may have stuff, and they can't always say yes. So you have to think about their needs as well when you're making your request. Be nice. You can do way more, catch way more with honey than you can with vinegar. So be nice. Be honest. Always be honest. It's important that you're honest. It is very important that you're honest in what your needs are. I don't know what these people keep calling me. Sorry. Don't pout or sulk if you don't get it. Because now what do? You become bitter and you become the martyr, and they're like, well, if I don't give in to her, she's just going to be a spoiled brat. And when somebody says no, you're going to be like, why? I do everything for you. For crying out loud, I do it all, and you won't give me this one thing. And we pout and we sulk, and now we turn into the bitch, and we have shut them off. When you ask for needs and they're not fulfilled, let it go. You're no worse off than what you were. But when you start with this, I do everything for you, and you can't do this one little thing for me, one, you've created a fight. Right? You've built up resentment. You're now angry, and that wall is there. Let the no roll. It just happens. People do that. Okay? When you feel resentful or overwhelmed and underappreciated, you get frustrated. And we don't need that in our lives. We don't need that bitterness in our lives. We have that choice. Who cares about your needs as much as you do? Nobody. Nobody cares about your needs as much as you do. Fact of life. Hard fact to swallow. We think our friends do. We think our family does. We think our spouse does. We think our children do. Nope. Nobody cares about your needs as much as you do. Okay? That is not selfish. That is life. Nobody cares about your needs more than you do. It is a fact of life. That's how it works. So it is important that we do that. Again, don't assume they're mind readers. People don't know what we want if we don't ask. Has to happen that way. Remember, be bold, be specific. We've talked about this. Get clear. You're only going to get what you tolerate. That's a weird statement, but you're only going to get what you tolerate. When you tolerate all this nonsense, that's what you're going to get. When you start to give a clear message, this is what I want, this is what I need. And I'll give you an example. So, y'all know I've had issues with health and other things. Carl likes to eat really late, right before he goes to bed. I can't do that. So we've kind of worked it out because of my schedule and his. Like 9:30ish is kind of when I have to eat by, between 9 and 9:30 at night. I have to eat dinner then. Well, I have let it go on to, there's times we're not eating till 11 o'clock at night, and I get physically sick. And so I'll tell Carl, oh my God, I'm so nauseous, I need to eat. Well, that wasn't a request. That was, I'm nauseous, I need to eat. Where I've gone back to, honey, it's 9. I have to eat at 9:30. We need to cook dinner, or I will cook dinner and I'll eat and you can eat whenever. I need to eat at 9:30. So I'm very specific in what I will and will not tolerate. That wasn't being ugly. That was being honest. That's my need. It just happens. It's my need. So you have to be able to do that. We had this thing about explosions, and y'all know I have PTSD and have my own triggers. And so when Carl gets mad, like a lot of veterans, they slam things. Because like the plate, their tires, or the plate hits, or the silverware hits the table, or the door slams open, or the door slams closed, or whatever. Okay, well, that is a huge trigger for me personally in my own PTSD world. So I've said something about it. I'm like, that slamming that door is a trigger for me. Okay. Was there a need in there? Did I specify a need in there? No, I made a statement. So the other day, I looked at him and I said, honey, stop slamming things around. They are a trigger for me. I was very specific. And his answer to me was, I will try. He said to me one day, yelling is a trigger. Please don't yell. And my answer to him was, I will try. Are there times I yell? Yes. Are there times I'm more aware of me yelling? Yes. And I tend to stop it. Now he is much better about not slamming things because he knows it triggers me. I had to ask for a specific behavior to stop. I can't say, I just can't live with this anymore. All of this goes on, and this goes on, the slamming, and the this, and the explosions, and the this, and the that, and you don't do... I can't just say that because I didn't ask anything. I was stating things. I was pointing things out. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't ask for a behavior change. I didn't ask for a need to be met. I simply stated what all was going on. When I learned to ask, we got results. Did it happen overnight? No. But we got results. So that is kind of where we are on our needs being met. There is a printable that is way more in detail. It's in the group. You can download it and read it. But that is the right we have, is to ask that our needs be met. It is a very tough thing for us to do, especially when we are givers. And we find that asking makes us feel greedy at times or selfish at times. It's not. You can't be better for anyone if you're not better for yourself. You can't be better for yourself if your needs and wants are not addressed. They don't have to be on your time, but they can be addressed. And that is critical, that we learn that that is our right. Nobody can take that away from us. Not our veteran, not our children, not our parents, not our friends, not our employer. Nobody can take that right away from us. It is critical that we learn that this is key and that that is our right, and start practicing your right. Is it going to work overnight? No. People are going to look at you and be like, oh, this is the chick that did everything. And now she's putting rights out and she's asking for stuff in return. It's going to be great when you start seeing that all these people who dump crap on your lap, now that they know you have needs too, are going to look at other avenues to dump stuff on instead of in your lap. It is amazing what happens when that does that. It is a freedom. It's great. So ask for what your needs are. That is your right. It is also your responsibility. So don't think other people can read your mind or know your needs or decide what you need today, because only you know that. Ask. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the right to say no to things we cannot do. We have a right to say no. I know that's shocking to so many people, myself included. We have a right to say no. And that is already on the group page, those printables. So let me give you the quick little rundown. One, if y'all find these videos helpful, please like and share them or write us a review. That will only help us in the long run gauge where we're at as far as helping y'all and being a community and a resource that we have. So if you like them, like and share these and write us a review. That's important. Again, newsletter, if you have not signed up, it will be coming out today. It is full of way, way, way more information than we can imagine. Girl Talk is downloaded. I've got to put the headers in, and that will be to the page at 10. If you guys want, yeah, I know it's so much easier when people read your mind. If you guys want to be on an episode of Girl Talk, please message us. I think that the more we share our stories with each other and in a community, the more people will resonate that, you know, our lives are not perfect. They are tough roads, but we get through them because we have each other and support of each other. Book club, we have the GoFundMe there as well, and the new website will be coming out today. We've been working on some changes to the website and much, much, much more information. Fridays, I'm so excited. Jeremy is in our first Vet Connect. That will be done on Friday, where we're going to talk to veterans and get their insight and opinion. And we've interviewed some veterans on different topics. So that will all be available and coming. I'm also going to post today the link to our dear friends at Behind the Service podcast and their great episodes that are coming out. I really am touched and want to listen to this Wednesday's episode where they talk about what it was like to lose your spouse to suicide. Suicide is a big deal. So that's out there as well. I hope y'all have a blessed day. We have a lot going on. Thank you guys so much for participating in the pages and the groups. They are just exploding, and I am so happy. And we are grateful that you are part of our community. I'm Stacy. This has been Walking in My Shoes, and we are loving my veteran. Have a blessed day.